I've been wanting to learn how to use gold leaf for a long time now, and I've just never done it. But today, that's going to change. Hi, I'm Cindy with Reinvented Delaware, and we love to reinvent and repurpose all sorts of home decor and furniture items, and even get a little crafty sometimes. That's what we're going to do today with copper leaf and some craft store pumpkins. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Let's go over supplies. I ordered a package of craft style pumpkins on Amazon, and I found a package that has a variety of sizes, all the way from a size like this, that's a medium size, up to the one that's the largest, that's this one here, all the way down to a teeny tiny one that I've already painted. We'll talk about that in a minute. The next supply that I ordered that I've never ordered before is this special metal leaf adhesive. Now you need to have a special metal leaf adhesive for this project to work. With that, I ordered a package of copper leaf. Now I gotta be careful. Copper leaf moves around a lot. So does gold leaf. I just ordered it in copper, and it's lots of layers of copper leaf with paper in between. You see, I've already used some. And then you also need a special brush after applying the copper leaf. And that's this brush. It has a very loose edge to it here, more for brushing away excess of copper leaf. And I even have some copper leaf still stuck in the brush from when I practiced. And you're also going to need an artist brush and a pink color in the color of copper. So I picked out one. This is called terracotta. It's just a chalk craft paint that I got at the craft store. You can use really any kind, and I'll link all of these supplies down below in the description. And an artist brush. Not sure if I mentioned this. I keep these on hand. They come in real handy for all sorts of projects. And that's all that we need. Let's get started. So this is the next day, and I'm continuing on with covering these pumpkins in the gold leaf, and I'm so excited to share it. Now, I worked on some of them last night. I was just so excited I couldn't contain myself. And I got a lot of them covered, and I noticed I had some spots that I was not able to cover, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. But for now, let's get started on the last two pumpkins, these large ones. After working on the smaller pumpkins last night, I had a lot of little bits left over, and you're going to see why. And that's what this is right here. These are all my little bits that I'm being very careful not to sneeze. And then I also had a couple of larger sections that are left. I'm going to lay those aside. The gold leaf, let me just mention, it's very lightweight. And the sheets of the gold leaf, or in my case, the copper leaf, are just so flimsy and so lightweight they could quickly just blow away. So I'm going to carefully put this back, and we're going to get started with the larger sheets. This is how I did it last night. I used the larger sheets first, and then I used the extras that were left over to fill in some of the gaps. So here's my stack of gold leaf. I keep saying gold. Mine are copper. I think I'm used to hearing the word gold leaf. Mine are just out of copper. Same thing, just copper. And I'm going to start with this large pumpkin. It's still tacky from that adhesive that we used, so that's good. I'm going to lay the bottom of the copper leaf on the bottom of this pumpkin by just setting the pumpkin on top of this sheet. I haven't picked it up from the stack. I'm just going to sit it down on top of that gold leaf. Now, if I keep saying gold leaf, just know that I mean copper. I think gold leaf is just the more common term. All right, so I'm going to set the bottom of this pumpkin right on top of this sheet of copper leaf, and I'm going to try to eyeball it and center it the best I can. I'm not too worried about that. And because the pumpkin has this sticky, tacky adhesive on it, it's going to pick up that gold leaf for me, turn it upside down carefully. And I'm going to start by just using my finger to press it down in the center of the pumpkin. I can feel with my finger the different grooves of the pumpkin. So I've got the entire base of it attached. And you can start to see some of the indentations of the pumpkin right there. Now, you can see here where I have the indentation of the pumpkin coming up here. Well, I know I'm going to use my fingers in the valleys to press down in the valleys first, like that. And then over here, I'm going to move over to this one, and I'm going to use my finger very carefully and just press it into the valley. And then for each area that it like bumps up in the pumpkin, I can just continue to spread that down with my finger. So I'm going to turn the pumpkin, and where this valley is here, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to press the copper leaf into the valley, and then I'll just continue on. Now this has a little bit of a fold. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to use my finger and press it down. Look how pretty that is. So I'm going to continue to work around this pumpkin. So I'm going to lay the pumpkin down, and I want the edge of the copper leaf to try my best at least to reach this valley area. And I know it's going to overlap in this area. And we're just going to roll that onto the pumpkin like that. In the area that there was already copper leaf underneath, like in this area, the new sheet obviously is not going to stick to that because I've already adhered with it to the adhesive. So this piece winds up being some extras, and they're really good to use for around the little areas up around the stem, because I don't want to use a full sheet around little pieces, little areas like this. For one, it would be awfully hard to control that large sheet around such a small area. So that's where these little pieces, these leftovers, come into play. Now what I did to get the leftovers, I made sure that it was stuck down to as close to where they meet up as possible. And then I just lifted that up, and very carefully, I did not pull from this area and just pull it. I tried to put more of the pressure, my fingertips, towards where it was stuck, like that. So the pumpkin's looking a little rough. We've got all these extra flakes. We've got the area here around the stem that is not covered yet, but that's okay. We're going to take care of that. Now, as I moved around, I was, with the copper leaf, I was holding this stem, and what I noticed was that it was coming out. So I kind of think it would just be easy to remove the stem. I'm just figuring this out, and then just put it back in with some glue later, and then I don't have to work around it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So it just kind of pulls out. I'll just lay that aside, and the hole will stay there. So now I have a little area that I can work on. A little easier than trying to go around the stem like I did on the small ones, that some of the copper leaf got on the stem, so I've got to figure out how to get that off of there because the adhesive was on there as well. All right, so this area is ready to go. I'm going to pick up a piece of the excess that I have and very carefully and slowly move it over to the spot that I want to cover. There's going to be some areas that it's going to miss. I'm going to go ahead and push that hole through where the stem goes. It's all down. There's definitely some areas that it did not stick to, like right here, but we're going to take care of that and I'll show you how. All right, so for the most part, the pumpkin is covered. Let's get rid of all the flakiness that we have. But the brush basically will brush off the excess without damaging the part that is adhered to the pumpkin. If I used a scraping tool or even if I pulled at it, chances are I would tear the part that was that had adhered to the pumpkin, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing and get rid of the excess. I'm holding it down low to the surface so that it doesn't fly all over the place. So let's fix the areas where the copper leaf did not adhere. I used a small brush and the adhesive, and I just lightly dabbed those areas with a little bit of adhesive. Now I can come back with all these scraps that we have, and I can just stick it right on there. Wasn't that a fun project? I really enjoyed learning how to use copper leaf and how it works and how I could make craft stored pumpkins just look so adorable. I've got all the supplies linked in the video below. You can also visit my blog at reinventeddelaware.com, and I have a step-by-step tutorial there, and all the links are there as well. And if you can, I would love you to subscribe to our channel. We share lots of free tutorials here on our YouTube channel and free tutorials over on our blog at reinventeddelaware.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.